You are watching Matt's Minis, a Louis Lafleur program. This is a free episode available due to the graciousness of Mr. Lafleur himself. Please support the Patreon at www.patreon.com/LLPQ to watch all Matt's Minis episodes, including ones from past seasons, and other wonderful programs.
These are Matt's Mini Movies, presented by Mr. Louis. These are Matt's Mini Movies, presented by Mr. Louis.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Matt's Minis, presented by Mr. Louis Lafleur. I am Matt Johnson. This is going to be my little two-parter, second part of this episode where I was out of town and the weeks aren't really matching up, but I don't really give a shit. This is also going to be my special little birthday episode, because it's for the week of September 30th, 2025, which does happen to be my little birthday, and the last day will be someone else's little birthday, which we'll get to later on. So I actually flew out on my birthday to Colorado to visit my parents and my little bro. It's also spooky season, October's first day of spooky season, but I counted it as September 30 because why not extend it one more day from my special little birthday. You heard it here first. We're celebrating spooky season starting September 30th. So for my first movie of spooky season, I watched The Pit and the Pendulum by R. Corman, 1961. Vincent Price, Edgar Allan Poe adaptation on a spooky island in a spooky castle where he's like Spanish, has a Spanish ancestry of torturing people and being crazy, and his lover wife has died and her brother's coming to check out what's going on, and then it kind of spirals all into mayhem, I guess, and we've got a nice ending. Great sets and production in this very cheap, I'm sure, B movie from Roger Corman, which I just all love all of these. I'm sure it's just the same shit that he's used for the other Edgar Allan Poe adaptations, just, little slight differences here and there. Like Fall of House of Usher's got to have lots of these same shit, I'm sure, in it. I think I've read this one, this whatever short or whatever Poe shit back in the day, but I didn't really remember. But then I remembered that the cover of this is just fully just gives shit away. So once it came to the ending, I'm like, oh yeah, of course, this is what's going on. But it rocks, and I love it, so. For my Matt's Minis movie mobiles in the movies, I think there was a horse and a carriage. There might have been a boat of some kind, but I don't remember that. But there's almost nothing, because it's basically just in this castle. I think I'll just give it a 1 on the mobile rating.
I shall not dwell upon the history of this blasphemous chamber. Suffice it that the blood of 1,000 men and women was spilled within these walls. Limbs twisted and broken. Eyes gouged from bloody sockets, flesh burned black.
Why are you telling me these things? What have they to do with my sister?
I should never have brought her here. She was too sensitive, too aware.
All right, that was The Pit and the Pendulum. Now, continuing on with my spooky season, we got Toolbox Murders by T. Hooper, 2004. A later era Hooper that looks like it was all shot on shitty digital cameras in 2004. Which I loved. Apartment building where people are just kind of disappearing and dying and stuff, and then it's also like mystery that unfolds by the character getting in, the main woman figuring out what's going on, and discovering shit about the building that she just has moved into where shit is going down. The main guy, bad guy, looks almost like Leatherfacey in the end. I don't know what exactly was going on there or what the backstory is, but I loved it. And in his rooms upon rooms of dead bodies and skulls and skeletons and shit, it's like, wow, this guy was getting away with shit for quite a while. Pretty badass. This definitely goes off the rails in the end, and that's a great time. There's also a little teenager hacking and spying into his neighbors through their webcams, which also just is great. I love that. For my Matt's Minis movie mobiles in the movies, this is basically just a single location, giant apartment building movie, and I don't remember a single mobile. They're going out for runs, but they're running around, on their legs without any wheels of any kind. And I don't remember any other cars or anything showing up. I think she does go one time to get the architectural diagrams of the building to figure out what's going on. So there might have been a car there, but I I don't remember. So maybe I'll give it a 1, just a single, maybe even a 0.5, just in case, just to hedge my bets a little. All right, that was the Toolbox Murders. Next movie of the week is called Friday the 13th by M. Nispel, 2009. Yes, the remake, Friday the 13th. Is this a remake? Is this like a, what do you call that when they're bringing something back? And it's certainly not the same story, I don't believe. It's like a guy trying to find his lost sister who was kidnapped by Jason, basically, and he's being held captive in his little dungeonous lair, which is all so strange, very not Friday the 13th-y. This was just on TV in the hotel room, so of course I didn't even get bloody gruesome deaths. That were they in this? I don't remember. I think I watched this, I'm sure, when it came out, but I really don't remember, in like high school. But it does open with Kira from Deep Space Nine as Jason's mom being murdered. Spoiler, but it's literally in the first like 2 minutes of the movie or some shit. Lots of weird stuff in this. The one like token black guy, basically, and that they throw in the movie, has this insane scene when people are just starting to die, where the other dude goes to bang a girl in the other room, and immediately when they leave, this dude's in the living room and just starts flipping through magazines until he finds a picture of any woman, which just happens to be a woman in like full sweater and shit, and he's like, "You'll have to do," and he starts getting into his pants with his Kleenex and is about to jack off when, like, you know, some bodies come flying in and shit. It's just like, bro, what are you doing? Hanging out with your bros in the middle of the woods in a house in the living room about to jack off. I just can't believe anybody thought that was reasonable in any way. Just a goofy ass movie. For my Matt's Minis mobiles in the movies, so the brother that's around looking for his sister the whole time is riding on a motorcycle. Does get pulled over by the cops who are giving him a hard time and being assholes about it. The rest of the bros that are going up to the house to fuck each other and fuck their girlfriends and shit like that, driving a big old SUV, like a Suburban or something, or an Escalade or some shit, I don't remember. Couple mobile action. I don't think there was even a boat, even though it's Friday the 13th. It does have a Friday the 13th ending, if you know what I'm talking about, but it's not on a boat. What are you gonna do? But it was still made me laugh. But yeah, there was a few mobiles, so I think I'll give it a 5 on the mobiles.
All right, please. That's stained oak. This is an outside game.
Okay, that was Friday the 13th. Now, I did take a little break on the spooky watch because Smashing Machine came out by B. Safdie 2025. So I thought I'd go watch that in the theater while I was out doing wedding stuff in Connecticut, and I had nothing to do. This is with The Rock and Emily Blunt as his wife, girlfriend situation, and about this, like, just basically a biopic of this UFC guy, and I don't give a shit about UFC in any way, or wrestling. I mean, I think wrestling is kind of cool, but this guy, like, you once you get to UFC and they're actually just, like, trying to murder each other, it's just like, I just don't care anymore. I want to see the theatrics, you know what I'm talking about? I know that there is an actual documentary about this guy, which I think is also called Smashing Machine. I haven't seen that, but I can't imagine why this biopic needed to be made in any way, because it was basically just like yeah, here's a little bit about his life, and he was kind of like this failed UFC guy that could have been the best, I guess, but he got addicted to drugs, painkillers, really. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a sad story, but I got basically nothing out of it. It just felt like Oscar bait for The Rock to try to become a real actor, you know what I mean? So, for my Matt's Minis, movie mobiles, and the movies, 2 major mobiles in this, really, which is one driven by the Smashing Machine himself, and then 2 by his girlfriend, wife. He's driving around a Land Cruiser, Toyota Land Cruiser, from the late 90s or something like that, which looks pretty sweet. And then she's driving around a little red Mercedes convertible, an SLK 50. They are in Phoenix or Arizona or something, somewhere in some heat. Very deserty movie. So the convertible makes a lot of sense, I guess. Besides in the summer, which seems like impossible. I think there is also like a little plane sequence because he's going to Japan and back a couple times. So a little plane action, I guess. That's it. I think that's the mobiles for the movie. So I think I'll give it a 4 out of 10.
I made this for you. Love you. Do you want me to throw this out? Are you gonna have this?
Use the skim milk, right?
Yeah, skim milk like last week.
I switched to whole milk last
Why didn't
week.
you tell me?
I thought I
No,
told
but you
you.
gotta tell me these things. I'm gonna get it wrong if you don't tell me these things.
It's all right. I'll just make another one.
All right, that was The Smashing Machine. Next movie of the week is called Misery by our Reiner, 1990. So I was reading the Misery book while I was on this little vacation of mine, which I kind of flew through because Stephen King's very easy to read. I was not really going to like it because of this whole crazy lady situation, but I will say the book was much more enjoyable than the movie. And the movie's cool and all, but it's more just like, yeah, Kathy Bates is just a crazy wacko nut job. In the book, there's so much more about him, about his writing, him needing to write to live, and everything feels also like a metaphor for needing to write and having producers that are pieces of shit and stuff. That's what it seemed like to me. And also so much more with the like pain and the medication and everything that you just can't get through in a movie, you know. And so much of this book is like just inside his head because he's just laying there all for months and months. It goes on for like 6+ months or something in the book because the snow has to thaw, and then his car travels a long distance that isn't found for a long time and everything. So in the movie, it kind of just like blows through a lot of stuff, and it's a lot of a good time. It's insane to me that Kathy Bates won an Oscar for this because what the fuck? It's insane. For my Matt Spinney's movies in the movies. So in the book, he actually crashes driving his Camaro on the snowy roads, but in the movie, it's a 65, I think, Mustang that he flips over. So that's of course a major player. Then we got Kathy Bates, who's driving a old Jeep Cherokee to town and back. There's also this action with the sheriff in town, which is so good. The guy from Straight Story, which I can't remember his name. His character, like that's all not in the book, and it's some of the best stuff in the movie, in my opinion. Mostly, I just love that guy. He just kills me. So yeah, I think that's basically it for the mobiles. There's like some cop cars, obviously. Maybe I'll give it like a 5. They're pretty major players in the book and the movie. So
I figured that if I can't find Paul Sheldon, at least I can find out what he wrote about.
What do you expect to find? A story about a guy who drove his car off a cliff in a snowstorm?
You see, it's just that kind of sarcasm that's given our marriage real spice.
For the rest of these movies, we had one big old movie day to celebrate my brother's birthday, which is 1 week exactly after mine. So the rest of the movies in this ep, we watched them all in one day, and we blasted through them, and they were a lot of fun. I'm not going to talk about all of them because a couple I've already talked about and watched recently, so but I'll just mention. So we did start with a movie called The Red Turtle by Pudek de Wit. I don't know, 2016. French animated movie with some, I guess, Ghibli crossover or some people from the Ghibli working on it or something. A full non-speaking movie about a guy washed up, a castaway type movie with a red turtle that turns into a woman, and he makes a little family, and it's just the whole life of this poor sap on this island. Stuff about a family raising a little boy and teaching him to be like you and be a little man and growing up and taking care of you, surviving out in the harsh world, I guess. He tries to make a raft and escape like multiple times and keeps not working, and just like keep trying. Who knows how far this raft's gonna take you. First, if I was stuck on an island like this, I would not, and I had food and shit, like whatever, I'll just die on the fucking island. I'm not gonna die out in the middle of the water like drowning. I'll live for 10 more years on the island by myself and go crazy, like whatever. I feel like that's more enjoyable. I just gotta think that your chances on a shittily built raft out of some, trees and twine, the chance has gotta be so low of anything coming out of that, in my opinion. For my Mass Minis movie mobiles, in the movies, just that raft that I was talking about. It must have started out with some kind of mobile and him ended up on the island, but it was like 8:30 in the morning, and I was kind of in a little bit of a meeting at work while I was watching this in the very beginning, and I just don't remember. So maybe there was something else, but all I really remember was all those rafts getting destroyed. So I think I'll just give it like a 3 out of 10 for the effort of the rafts. After Red Turtle, we did watch The Day Trippers, which I enjoyed and I have talked about on here, and then we watched Godzilla -1, which I have watched multiple times in the theater, and I believe I talked about on Mass Minis, but I don't remember, so we're skipping right over that. And so the next movie after those was Michael Clayton by T. Gilroy, 2007, which I had not seen, a little thriller of some kind with George Clooney and Tilda Swinton and some other people. Not exactly the most thrilling movie. George Clooney is just kind of like this corporate errand boy that, gets shit done, I guess, or whatever. And then there's this corporation that was killing people and with their pesticides or some kind of shit like that, and trying to cover it all up. And he's trying to, I guess he's trying to expose them, but not really. But in the end, he does. But it feels like it's more like this personal thing, Can't fuck around with Michael Clayton. This is also one of those where it shows you kind of like, not the ending, but like the 80% mark of the movie, and then it rewinds a few days and then leads up to that, and it just always feels like, what's the point of that? Like, yeah, okay, now I know where this is going to go to. Is the point just to like, so I can see stuff leading up to it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's why that happened? Because for me, that doesn't do anything. That does nothing for me. It just pisses me off. Just don't do it. Don't do it, you filmmakers. All you filmmakers watching my Matt's Minis, don't do it. But otherwise, enjoyable enough. For my Matt's Minis movie mobiles in the movies. So the one thing that was shown and then rewinded from was actually Mr. Michael Clayton's Mercedes going a big boom explosion, an S series, I believe, S500 or some kind of shit. A big, fancy, very nice, expensive Mercedes getting blown up. Outside of that nice Mercedes, which we see some more in the rewinds also, there wasn't a lot. He's trying to go a little after the explosion, and then some shit's going down. He's trying to go incognito and hang out with his brother in like his dumpy little sedan of some kind, but you're like, wow, this fancy Michael Clayton's gotta ride in this poor sap's little shitty car. But I think that's about it. Maybe there's like a plane sequence or two, don't remember, but it's mostly the Mercedes, which was cool, and it was a big part of the movie for that. I'd probably give it like a 5.
That signal's good.
Okay, so that was Michael Clayton. The next movie of that day was Sorcerer by W. Friedkin, 1977. Very highly regarded Friedkin that I know everybody loves. That's a remake of Wages of Fear, an old French movie with and this one's with Roy Scheider, and transporting some trucks with some nitroglycerin where they can't get them off balance. They're gonna get a big explosion. So, some exciting stuff. The most exciting part is the whole bridge crossing sequence, which the whole time I'm just like, I don't even know how they really even did it, because the whole thing looks like it's falling apart. Even from the side views, it looks like nothing of a bridge, but obviously it must have done something. It worked quite well. They both made it cross. I was kind of surprised how the whole first half is just kind of like almost like Seven Samurai type of deal, like gathering in the dudes for the mission. You have no idea what this mission's going to be, but all the dudes were like political exile type of people. Like they were not even that, but they were like assassins, bombing type of people. Some dude who had a company and like lost it all. Like the situations these guys are in. Oh, then Roy Scheider was like part of a mob and tried to do a little caper and accidentally stole some mob money and had to get the fuck out of there. So they're all people that just had to get out of their little homeland, and they end up down in South America needing to do a job for some money, put their life on the line. But it was cool. Yeah, it was a very sweaty movie. Gets very exciting. Probably my favorite of the Friedkins that I've watched so far. For my Mass Minis movie mobiles in the movies, so of course the main mobile is all the trucks, the two big trucks one, I think it's just called Sorcerer, I guess. It has the word sorcerer on it, and that's why the movie's called that. And nothing to do with magic or sorcery of any kind. So don't get it mixed up. It's just a big truck transporting some dynamite that's turned into nitroglycerin. So it's exciting, but not in the way you might think from reading the title. So yeah, they're the whole movie, and they rock. And there's also some Jeep situation driving in and out. There's also this like truck with they bring back these dead bodies in this brutal scene. The body looks like it's like the most charred black thing ever, and it's just like, Jesus Christ. So it's good mobiles. It wasn't until really the second half of the movie where they got going, but I'll still give it like a 9 out of 10 on the mobile rating. All right, that was Sorcery. Now, for the last movie of the week, it was The Thing by J. Carpenter, 1982. Yes, still The Thing remake, not the... I think it's called, like, Thing from Another World or something, the original, which I still haven't watched. Which, has the same title sequence. Shout out to Snake in Your Mouth on VLV for noticing. Definitely one of my favorites of all time. It's the best. Love my Carp, love my Kurt Russell isolated movie in the snow in Antarctica, and figuring out who the bad guy is. That many movies have done similar, but this one does the best. He never really goes, gives you any kind of hints or anything as it's going along as to who might be infected, because it could be anyone at any time. It's like Body Snatchers type of shit too, which is also a good movie, but this is better still. So of course all of the effects are all just so good. The 80s practical effects is what people complain about. When people are complaining about CGI these days, they're watching The Thing and they're like, why can't we just have it? Why can't we just have this again? Because it's so sick and twisted. For my Matt's Minis moviemobiles in the movies, I think you really just got the helicopters. K. Russ is a helicopter pilot with this huge sombrero almost of a cowboy hat. We also got the opening sequence with the Norwegians and their helicopter. Doesn't work out so well for them. And then, of course, we got the alien spaceship in the ice, and then the other one starting to be built, but no really flying around action. I mean, the very, very opening is the plane, the UFO crashing into Earth, so I guess that counts. So there's some mobiles. I think I'll give it like a 4.5 on the mobile rating.
Your move, bishop to knight 4. My move, knight to rook 3.
Poor baby, you're starting to lose it, aren't you?
Your move, king to rook 1. My move, rook to knight 6. Checkmate. Checkmate.
Cheating bitch.
All right, so that wraps up my little special birthday episode. Now it's time for Matt's Minis, mammals and non-mammal animals. Coming in at number 3 is going to have to be in Sorcerer. There's like quite a few animals. There's like some lizards and stuff, and they're out in the jungle. But the main thing that I remember was when it felt like we're getting close to seeing people dying, we got hawks or maybe like vultures flying around, circling around, That's the feeling I got. They're like looking for dead bodies and shit, and they're like trying to come peck. Added some tension with the vultures flying around in the sky. Number 2, a mammal and non-mammal animal for the week is going to have to be Emily Blunt's little cat in Smashing Machine, who keeps trying to come up on the couch, and Mr. Rock is like, no, I will not have the cat on the couch. But then he kind of gives in because she's so cute, and she's a big old cat, big old hairy cat. You gotta let him up on the couch. She ain't clawing, or if she worries she's gonna claw, then put some shit over the couch. Let him have her fun. That's what that how-to episode is all about, Cover it up, get a duplicate. Do what you gotta do to let your cat have a nice, happy life. And of course, for number 1, it's gonna have to be the dogs in The Thing. Very similar to Together that I mentioned a while ago, but the whole thing starts with a dog. The doggy brings in it's not a dog at that point, It's a freaky alien. Comes in and does alien shit, infecting people, and it turns into a massive alien monster freak, and it has to get blown up. Poor dog, you gotta say, because it was very cute. And I'm sure it was a good dog. before it turned into an alien. Just because it turned into an alien doesn't mean it's a bad dog, you know? I'm sure that was a good dog. So that's it. That's my Mass Meetings for the week. Signing off. Bye.